Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is introducing historical context. And here are your objectives. Take a moment and look these questions over and get ready to copy some notes as you watch the video. In this video, you're going to learn about a skill that you will be using all year, and that skill is called historical context. This is a skill that you may have already practiced in global history. On the U.S. history regions and in U.S. history class, you're going to be given one or more documents to read, and then you'll be asked to describe the historical context surrounding these documents. The documents could be a reading like this one on the left, or an image like this cartoon, or even a map or a graph. So the first thing that you need to do when you get a question like this is you have to study the two documents. And then, in order to answer it, you're going to write one long, well-written paragraph. Your answer is only one paragraph, but it has to have a lot in it. It's not an essay, but it's still longer than your average paragraph. I'm going to show you an exemplar paragraph in just a second, and I don't want you to waste time reading it over. Just notice how long it is. Here's the exemplar. As you can see, it's one fairly long paragraph, about 6 to 10 sentences. And that's how much you will need to write when you answer historical context questions. Now let's talk about what you need to be writing about. Broadly speaking, the historical context paragraph is information about the time period when the documents were created. I'll say that again. Your answer is going to be about a time period, and that's the time period when the documents that you studied were made. In order to describe that time period successfully, I recommend focusing on what I call the 5 W's. And the 5 W's are when, where, who, what, and why. Remember, these are things that are related to the time period of the document, not to the document itself. When means historical eras, years, or specific dates that are relevant to the document. Where refers to places like countries or cities that are relevant to the document. Who refers to people or groups of people that are relevant. And what refers to people, events, things, or ideas. Excuse me, not people. Ideas, events, and things. And lastly, why means why is this time period important? I also call the why analysis, and you'll learn more about that later. The point of the 5 W's is to help someone understand the documents by explaining specific people, places, events, ideas, etc. from that time period that are relevant to the documents. In your answer, you should be as specific as possible. Name specific people, name specific years, name specific events. But again, I want to emphasize that you're writing about a time period and different things that happened in that time. Now let's look at what historical context is not. Here are some things that I do not want you to do when you answer these questions. You are not summarizing what the document or documents say. Please do not write what the document shows or says. Don't tell me what you see in it, and although you may reference the documents, this is not the time or place to use quotations. This may be a little confusing to you, but once we look at some examples in class, I think it will be clear. All right, let's review the objectives. If you missed the answer to any of them, just rewind the video and look again. I will see you in class. Bye, students.